And today we will dive into R, and we will learn the other tool, which is quite an exciting tool called Swirl. I think most of you, can I take this out or? Oh, I'm sorry, it's only like appears in my laptop, so you guys fine. So most of you knows R, and it is basically a statistical tool, but it is at the same time what we call analytical tool. And what is good about R, it is a free and everyone can use it. So basically we call it open source. This is what we're gonna talk in first outline, brief introduction about R. We will try to go, not installation because I already have it there and most of you I think already installed R. We will set up the R script that we will work in. We will have the packages needed for our workshop. We will go and have our working directory set it up. We talk a bit about the types of data in R and how can we read data into R. And we will have the example of financial regression, or let's say linear regression. Basically, linear regression goes with two types, simple and multiple regression. And we will talk briefly about it. Then we will lastly talk about the swirl. So very brief about swirl and how swirl can give you big advantage to learn R. So again, R, as we all know, open source, let's say statistical analytical tool can, like each one can download and use. It's free out there. And what's good about R, it is more intuitive. Python, I use it not very, let's say a bit, but I didn't see the intuitiveness there. Maybe for some will say, okay, it's also intuitive. But R, I get, to play around it more. So I see how it's really intuitive because I'm not a programmer. I'm coming from business side. And when I use R, I felt, okay, it seems this is good for business people to work with, especially like in our, let's say, people who not only focusing on teaching, focusing on research. We need a tool that is capable to do our analysis, to do our regression, to do our other, let's say, technical or analytical stuff. So what is good about R when we compare it to other, let's say, analytical tools, it is having a big community. And this community is not shrinking, actually, it's going very significantly on the rise. Like if you have any question about R, you just can Google it. And many of those interested or motivated people working with R maybe get the answer to you. And there are forums there. What is also good about R, you would see those techniques, new techniques already implemented in the R before those, let's say SPSS, Stata, SAS, those that you pay. And R you don't pay, but you see those new techniques already there. Since this motivating community works very hard to make R one of the top in the analytic industry. R basically comes with 25 packages, but there are more than 3,000 packages you can download and use it for your data analysis, for let's say more into machine learning type stuff, visualization and others. And we don't go with the console as R, let's say as RR, we go with the R Studio. R Studio is more friendly interface, and we will talk about it more, how, let's say, more to use it as advantage, not to use R. So already, I assume, most of you done this step. And let's go about R script. When we say R script, we're referring here, we need to use R Studio instead of R as the console. Let's go to the program and show you. So basically, do you see here? This is what we call, oh, why is not? Okay, so when we're saying the console, we're referring to this console. This is what comes in R, the default R program, but we're using the R script. So basically, this is the R Studio. You see here, R Studio. So when we say the script, we usually click on the plus sign and we create a script for us. And instead of typing our code here, which is quite difficult to manage later on to maintain our work, we just type it there and we get the result here. Oh, sure. So it is a very efficient tool to have as R script. And this is the common practice. When you're using SAS, there is what we call syntax file. When using SPS, it's quite the same. When using Stata, those more data analysis tool, they're using quite dual file. They don't type into the console. They type into a script file. So they can do their changes there, but not affecting what is the result or the appearance here. And this is also maintaining their work. When they close it, they have already R script maintained and saved. So this is the advantage of using R script, what we call R files instead of the console. So R is a tool that's based on packages. So anytime you need to work with R, you need to use some type of packages. So for example, we will learn about regression analysis. So we will call a package called car, which is about regression, and install it. Then we just load it through the library function. So anything you need to start, for example, you need to cluster data. You need to use a neural network methodology or machine learning. You need to call this type of machine learning, then what? Take it or load it from your library. So this is all based on packages. And since we are using or gonna implement type of regression analysis, we will use CAR package. So what CAR stands for? Companion to applied regression. So when I take this and just put it there in Google, this is only one package. Okay, well, we don't have internet here. Internet should be fine, Dr. Abdul Rahman. Yeah, it seems disconnected. So what I'm trying to say, this car package is being devoted, or there's a book devoted to explain the function inside it. Like when I took my criminal justice course in the graduate level, we use car all the time. And we need to buy this book to learn how to use car package. So this is only package. And you just, imagine there are quite 3,000 packages there. So maybe 3,000 books for each package. But most of the material you can access it through online. Since people are very motivated talking about R, you would see a group there have the knowledge or skills to help you in any type of, let's say, installing packages or running functions. Yeah, it's connected now. Yeah, this is the book you see here. This is for the car package. We call companion to applied regression, and I don't know, it's how much. Okay, quite less than we bought it, like $60. It's quite the same, maybe. Okay, 2 years ago, and they have the same price. So basically, we will go to R and install car package now, and we will use this, you see this type of line. We say comma dependencies equals true. Why we're saying that? Because there are some packages depending on car, and sometimes we will need those packages to run our function. So when we say dependency is true, we are also calling those dependent package. So any of you guys has not yet installed, okay, need some type of internet or need help, or you need help? So internet connection. Okay, okay, that's good. So already had this package or like car and Swirl, the other package installed, but I'm gonna show you how things takes while, or I'm gonna cancel it in the process. So I'm doing this because some of you still maybe not yet installed the package and need some time. So we will have this time, let's say, getting any question now, maybe if you have.
So basically, who used R before? Who is very good in R? Who wants to learn R at Fondation? He has nothing about that. So yeah, just we want to make sure that we have the right audience.
Okay.
Okay, so this package is who did not install it yet? The new package. Only one? Two? Okay, so by the time, I think it will be installed. Yes, now
Okay, that's good. So any questions for me or about R, or Hussein also very expert in R. So again, I already installed this. I think I will not go. I will just click and stop here, and I will go to the library. So guys, anytime you start R and you already have packages installed, you need to call them and use library. So library basically it's loading those packages that install in R. So installation only once, but library every time you run R and you need to use some function from that package. Like we need to use some function from car package. So we say run, and they are what? Loading this library, the car, and any function we use within this package will work. But if we go start R and just type in function from car package without saying library car, this will not work because function are not loaded there. And it's a good thing once you have the library, called, you say search. So basically search, it give you what all the packages installed or being installed with the car. So you see here, this is our white car, our interested bucket that we need to work on. But we see there are many dependencies of those on car that need to come with car. So we have a package here called datasets. Basically, you work with R and you don't know where to get the data to work with R. There are already some types of datasets that you can use to do your analysis, and we will do so in our session. So Swirl will not use it now, but it's good to have it installed. So Swirl, if you has not yet installed it in your device, please do so through saying install that package, Swirl, and also type in library Swirl, just to call Swirl into R. So when I say Swirl, because I already installed it, it starts with me talking. So Swirl like an interactive platform built in R for R learner. So say hi, type Swirl when you're ready to begin. Once you say Swirl, parentheses, start, what's your name, what you are interested to learn, and so on. We'll go briefly at that, like in the end of our workshop. So working directly, basically working directly, it is the file or folder that you need to save your outputs in. We don't, scatter our outputs. We just put them in very specific file. We call it, or folder, we call it working directly. And it is good to have that file, since any data that you need to have, you put it there and call the data from that directly. That, like, let's say, the home of our output or any data needed for the analysis. So basically, when you run this function, get WD, this is, it says get my directory. So it give me your directory now in this what URL. So anything you do, it will goes there into documents, HTML user C. But you can always change it if that's not convenient for you to save the outputs or your data there. You will go and say set. So basically it is intuitive. You get and you set now. WD. Okay, but you need here to what? Define or put the directory that you need to have outputs going to. Okay, for example, here, I'm using this directly for Google Drive. So if each output I'm using, I just put it in Google Drive, so not to lose it if anything happens. So I just control copy or C and put it in there. Then what say run. Okay, what the R says. Give me a specific problem. Yeah, that's good. R using what we call forward slashes, but Windows using the backward slashes. So I need to change those slashes so to make that code run. So just go there and say change them to forward. All of them forward slashes and your code will run fine. So it is what the new directory that we have, we set it there. And you can just test, get, and see what is directly. It is the same as you specify now.
Just because, can you show us like how to, when you install the RStudio?
Okay.
Okay, what we should support? You just run it. We'll go to your RStudio folder.
Okay, when I'm trying to start RStudio, I'm just search for it, RStudio, and click on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then apply.
Yep. So you go search in Windows on RStudio, and you will see it there with its like blue circle, and click on it, and again start. So again, just be cautious. You're using forward slashes, not the backward in R. R, as we know, is an object-oriented language, meaning that the language being organized around objects, not action. So you have action 4 plus 4 equals 4 plus 4, yeah, 20 or 8. Yeah, so when we say that, it gives us the result. But okay, but we are interested to have this stored in what? An object X. So it goes and have the value there. Then we have another thing. So the object can be changed when you use, or this is what we call a variable, basically. It's kind of variable, object variable that you can store any action inside it. And we will see how the object used here, actually. When we're talking about the data for R, there are quite four types of data. First one we call character, when we use name. And when we try to use name or any other, let's say, strings or text, we call it characters. So when we try to define a variable called name, we don't just write the name. Okay, Okay, thank you. So we use a type of, let's say, function called vector. Vector basically, what we call in بالعربي, the vector المنتجع. It can be horizontal or can be vertical. And in Arabic, when we say vector, we're referring basically to a column. A column can be or column or row. So data inside that column, we call it a vector, or row with the data, we call it a horizontal vector. So when we try to define some names, we use the vector and we refer to it as C. So we have those names, Tom, for example. I just want to show you that the type of data that those can reflect. Okay, Terry. So we run this and it gives us what? This is what we call a variable now, and the type of data inside this CHR. So what's CHR again? Character. And you can check. You say class name, it give you this what? Character. So basically this is a character, what we call in other language strings, maybe strings. Yeah. And we have the numeric around quite the same. So when we try to define a numeric variable like age, we use the vector again by typing C, then we just put ages we're interested to have. Okay. And it says NUM, numeric. And you can check just by calling a class function and have that variable inside like class and just change it into age. Okay, change it into age and click run to see it is a numeric now. And again, this is good to know. Once you try to work with the data, you need to identify what type of data it is. It is a character, it is a, let's say, numeric, it is a logical, what we're going to talk now, it is a factor. So factor basically working with the categorical variable. So let's say political here. They have how many parties in the US? So they have 3, I think, independent. Okay. They have another one, Republican. And they have third, Democrat. When I run this, it will what? Have it as character, but I don't like to have it as a character. It is more a categorical variable. I need to have it as, levels. So I would use factor here before the vector. So I use factor. This is change the type of data into factor, which basically categorical variable. So it says factor with 3 levels. This is good for data analysis when you try how the Democrat, let's say, impacting the voting performance or any type of performance. You are maybe targeting very specific segment. For you as a, let's say, company, you are having the, let's say, the early adopters from 30 to, I don't know, let's say from 25 to 30 in age, early adopters, or those, let's say, what we call the generation or X generation, yeah, those so very early in age, you can see their impact on your, let's say, sales campaign, how they are reacting to those campaigns. So it's good to have those like levels. So you need to segment them into 3 or 4 and see each cluster, each group, how they affect or how they react to specific campaign or any other, let's say, KPI in your company. Third one, we call it logical. Logical, basically, it is a binary variable. Binary variable, you go with yes or no, true or false. So when you try to, okay, to have that defined, you do the same ticket, for example. So they were saying whether they get the ticket or no. So you would use the same C, and you say true, false. You know, you're just defining some people who get the ticket or no. And it give you here logical. And it's sometimes this is good also for research if you are interested to know what, let's say, gender, like men or women, affecting a very specific outcome. So true for men, if it's not a true, false, it means for women. If you have those like two binary variables and you need to connect or see their impact on very specific outcome, let's say firm performance. Actually, when I was in BHD, I did quite a study regarding whether female got to be manager or not. So this is a quite a question that I need to use logical there. So based on type of factors, I do some analysis and see for women, are they good to be, let's say, managers or CEO or not? But don't say share with the result with us, since. So again, vector to save like observations, it seems quite. So vector to save observation, and there are some good functions to use with vector to know their type through class and just type the variable inside. You also can know the vector length if you have a vector. Basically, think about the vector as a column of data or a row. Column can have what? Many observation there. Let's say 100. You don't need to look at them all. You use head, for example, head, and it's gonna give you maybe the 10 number there, or the 10 names there, or the 10 categories there. Also, you need to know what the length of this vector, what is the length of this column. You just type in length and it give you what? How many inside that column or that vector. So when we type in length, again, okay, let me try this one again, F8. Okay, so length, and we have there, for example, age will give us, it has what? Only 3 value inside, and so on. None. The value inside that variable, because we have we enter only 3 values inside, so it goes and calculate how many inside and give the number back. So reading data into R, and this is very crucial step, since usually you don't type data, you read data and analyze this data. And basically we read many data coming from Excel, or what we call CSV, those files. Excel, you can transfer it or transform it into CSV file, then read it into R. And R actually is very powerful in a way it can read data from different, let's say, sources. A data created by SPS can also read or read by R. There's basically different function. Like for SPSS, you can just have the foreign library because it is different file that R is not used to work with. So you need to call and install a foreign package, then take it, load it through library function, and you use read SPS.spss, name the file there. And for text file, for example, it goes with read that table. Since we are interested more into Excel or CSV files, we will have only those implemented. Again, okay. So I have already, there is a data, when you say data sets in Google, I think it will take you, okay, data sets. It will actually, I think what I wrote, very specific data file there, and it directs me to this website. Basically, this website gives you many data sets that you can use. I was trying to use a very specific, like a table called Bud, just to show some function there. So Bud, okay, yeah, this one, it has six, let's say, 6 rows and 2 variables, and you see, once you click on the document here, it gives you what this about. So each data give you very specific, or let's say brief information about, and this is where you can download this file and use it into R. So once I download this, what I need to do, it will go to the download section in my PC. I need to just, copy it or cut it and put it where? Into R folder. I already have it there. Yeah. Since what? Okay, I have cars instead. Okay. Okay, this is the one. Maybe I need to double my glasses. So I have Bud now. So take it from Bud, B-O-D, Bud. Yeah, there's no need for them to do anything, just for showing purposes. We will have another file to work on. So I'm just trying to say, once you download any file, you need to put it where? Into your directory that you specified. So this is my directory here, and already I have it here. If I don't have it, and when I try to, call it, it will not come because it is not there. It is not in our home. It needs to be brought first in our home, then you call it. So when we say go to R and say Bud here, so this is our file name, we say read. Since what we need to have this file, and we say read, you see many different files comes, but we are interested to have CSV because it has the extension of CSV. So you say Bud as is and CSV and run. You have it there. This is the file, or let's say the table you need to do your analysis in. So make sure it is inside our home, inside the working directory that you specified, because if it is not there, it will give you what problem. You can call it, but you need to use a different methodology, or let's say different way. So if it is not there, if it is, let's say, in the download, okay, we go to download. Okay, it is here in Bud. So what I need to use? I need to take the URL extension from here, and instead of saying Bud as Bud, I put all this in section, like all this inside, then / and write in the file name. So instead, put it just in the working directory. So when you just call it by its name, it will come. Okay, so we will have some function to work with the table. Usually we use str, refer to structure function, give you the tables like data, what is in there. For example, if we say str Bud, give us, this is a data frame. Basically, it is a table. It has 6 observation. So when we say observation, we are saying rows, records, those observation. It has 2 variables. So 2 variables means 2 columns. So variables refer to columns, and observation refer to the rows or records. It has the time, it has the demand. This is the variable name inside, and show their values. Basically, if you need to show it, you just click on it. Click on it and you see the table. Or you can use a view and type in the table name inside. But it is more straightforward to do the clicking. So we will work with some data set that already inside, because we installed car, we called car through library. Anyone has not called car? Okay. Do you have a problem or what to do? Library. You say, okay, let me go. Yeah. So do you see this here? You just type library and you will get the parentheses and you just type car. Yeah, so it is loaded, that's good. So when we have this, we will go and try to get the data there. Since we try to work with the data inside this. Okay. So when I'm saying data, run, do you see this is all data comes with the car or other dependencies packages. So and it gives you the data name and data description. So for example, here AMC survey. This is for mass society survey data. Arrest for marijuana possession. Okay, so on many things that you what enable you to do your analysis instead of bringing in data from outside, already data built in R you can use. We're gonna use a type or a data called, what is it? Duncan, but this is not Duncan Donut, just Duncan data, okay? So we go to our R script, we already typed in data, we just type in inside quotation Duncan and run. Okay, so we have Duncan here. It's a promise. It's promised to come, but still, I don't know, there is a way to bring it. You just say, try to say its name and will come, Dunk. Okay, you say it is appear in the time frame in data. So data just have those time frame tables. So basically, let's click on Duncan. So Duncan, basically a table that has 4 variables. So what are the variables here? Column. So we have what? I don't know, maybe you can't see. Yeah, type, income, education, and prestige. Basically, it is a data for those different occupations. It gives you how much income they get, what their type, and their prestige, and the education they get to get that occupation. So you say, maybe you see here accountant, the type BROF, basically a professional, accounting, a pilot, those professional. They give them income 62. So you would think $62,000. Education, they have a percentage, 100, as max 100 maybe, and 0 as min. So 86 maybe it go as a master degree. Education, our prestige again, it is the percentage of prestige for this occupation to reflect on their, let's say, those who are already working at this line of job. So 82 out of 100. So this is the prestige accounting can bring to the individual. So chemist, okay, الخيميائي mashallah, الخيميائي has more prestige. As in our country, oil and gas, or maybe chemists more. Dentist is very good, okay, 90 and so on. So we will try to figure the relationship, for example, between the income and education. We would see we have now 2 variables. Yeah, income and education. We'll see if you have higher education, will that affect your income? We say what? We say very, and in our simple thinking, we say yes. But research for any type of work or analysis, this is what we call subjective. We need something coming from data. We call it objective. So once we run the data and give us the answer, we can't say anything. Oh, no one can argue with you because I'm not saying this from my subjective opinion. The data is saying to me, and I'm just telling you. So this is the way that regression try to tell. It enables you to see the relationship between two variables. One we call it independent, and the other we call it dependent. So if we have two variables, we call it simple linear regression because there are only two variables. But if we have two variables as independent, so education is what? The independent variable here. And the dependent variable, the outcome, to see if it's being impacted, it is the income. So we have one independent, we call it simple linear regression. If we have like education and prestige, and does that affect your income? This is we call it multiple. So multiple, just you inserting more variables. You have multi-variable now instead of one variable in the symbol. So we will try to run both, and we already know the answer, but this is again our subjective saying. Let's say the data gets the answer for us. So we try to conduct regression analysis now. So we have Duncan already here, but we can play with the Duncan. We need to see, let's say, the type of data inside. If we're using, for example, head, and we try to get, let's say, the 10 values inside, let's say, income. So we would say Duncan $, then it gives us the 4 variable inside. What variable you are interested to see their value or first values? So we say income here. We select income and run. We have those, I don't know, 6 values or 7 values of what? Of the income. Again, it is quite maybe, let's say, not straightforward. Every time you need to work with the variable, you need to call the data or the table first. There is a function called attach. Attach enable you attach Duncan table. So let's me access Duncan table. So when I'm saying Duncan, I'm out of Duncan. I'm calling the table, then access the variable. But when I say attach, I'm inside the table now, and I have the variable. So when I say attach, it gets me inside the table. So I'm inside the table. I don't need to say Duncan each time. I just type the variable itself. Okay, so head income, give me the same answer because I'm inside the table now. This is more straightforward to work with tables. And instead, of calling if you have different tables, maybe you will not say attach because you need to call the table you interested to get data from. But if you have one table, you say attach and work with the variables inside. But make sure if you have attach and you don't work with that specific table, for example, Duncan here, you need to say detach. So it is saying, okay, let me access what? From the table. Let's work now more independent. So Duncan again. So you're saying, no, if I'm trying to run this, give me an error. Income not found. Where you need to bring income from? You need to get inside the table, then call income. But if you gets outside, no way you're gonna get income. So we will run the first regression. We're gonna, again, R is what? Oriented or programming oriented language in a way, everything being stored inside objects. So we will say fit1. This is our object. And we will bring function called LM, linear model. Linear model, it is the regression tool or regression technique that when that we will use here. So we say here, we start with the dependent. So we say income. And income should be regressed on education. So basically, from here, from my side, the right side is the dependent variable, the outcome variable. The left side is the independent variable. So I'm trying to see if education affecting income here from data, and what data you are interested to see or to have those coming from. We say Duncan. Then I run it. When I run it, I didn't see anything, but I see it's already created out there. So I need to show it now. What is the function to show? Summary. Summary, and just call that fit1 to give you the summary of fit1. Then it gives me all what I needed there. You see here, this is for, researchers. We know what we are reading now. Maybe for you it's a bit confusing, but let me help you here. So it says education. This is the estimate. Basically, estimate is a number between zero, let's say between 0 and 1. And what we are interested, do you see the stars? So the stars, this is the significance level. So if I don't have stars, I don't have relationship. So if I don't have a star there, education is not affecting income. But if I have 3 stars or even 1 star, so more stars, more significant. But less star, less significant. But if you don't have any stars, you are what? Saying there is no relationship. Since we have 3 stars, it's very significant relationship between education and income. So once you got a higher education, you're gonna have a higher income. We were saying this from first time, but people don't believe. We need to call or have the data say it to us. So, تفضل. Confidence interval, it's quite the same. But it is what you will see the hypothesis that you raised, it is inside or outside, which is quite complicated for some people. But for researchers, we go maybe with 2 ways. This is the straightforward way that everyone understand when read for example, your result. While if you say confidence interval, let's say statisticians will understand it well, but people from MIS, let's say, or from business or from engineering will have maybe some confusion there. Mm-hmm. 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 Do you mean the estimate here? Yeah, you can look at here the stars, or you can look at the t-value. T-value, this is also another way to say it is significant or not. Basically, in our mind as researcher, any value above 1.96 or 97, it is what? Significant. So we see here the t-value is 6.8 something. So this is very significant because, it is very far from 1.97. So this is what we call simple linear regression. Why are we calling simple regression? Because it is one independent variable. So if we have 2 independent variables, we call it multiple. So we are trying to get what? Okay, income and education. Let's say your income and education, will that affect your prestige? Like, let's say your social status. So we are creating another one. We call it fit2. LM, linear model, but we are changing it to prestige now. And we say education plus income. Okay, data. And by the way, R is very sensitive to what? Capital and lowercase. So we make sure if you say data with big, maybe it's gonna, both. Make sure you use, like for example here, head, if I say capital H, give me an error. So it's very sensitive with lower and upper cases. So data Duncan. Okay, say error. Formula prestige. Okay, so prestige, I don't know where he take prestige. Let me again write it down. Prestige, since for me. Okay. Let me see the table. Yeah, the P is what? Is small. So he giving there. Okay. Let me take it and just change the V and run it again. Okay, it goes now. So again, we will have the summary to see the result. This is a value being stored in data, but I don't know what is the result for both when we have a person with a higher education and higher income. Does that lead to have a higher prestige in the society? Okay, we already say summary and we just change the number it is fit to now and we click run. So again, we have two variables here now. Educations and income. And again, straightforward looking at what the stars. It is 3 stars. Look at the t value. It is 5, both of them. So this is mean they are significant. There are a relationship between individual having a higher education, higher income. He will have also higher prestige. So this is the regression analysis basically. Try to get the relationship from the data, since sometimes as researcher we ask very, let's say, I don't know, simple questions, but and anyone from the street will say, okay, yes, and we don't need a big study to do the data analysis and so on. You will say maybe half a year or a year to get the result, but we are very objective in a way. We're saying yes, but we are subjective. Again, maybe this is yes in our culture and community here, but we go to other culture, other region, maybe it is no. So it's very important to have the result coming from data. You trust data, since this is not only one, let's say 5,000 of people saying that the same. So if you take that answer from one person, while if the data collected from 5,000 people and take the answer from there, you will have what? More credible result, more credible saying, more credible conclusion or outcome. This is for basically conducting linear regression, but sometimes we need to visualize the relationship. We need to visualize, see how, relationship going. Basically when we talk about regression, we talk about the correlation, how this correlated to this. Sometimes it goes as line, straightforward. Sometimes it goes not very straightforward, steep but not very steep lines. We need to see this through the plot visualization. So we're gonna plot this and see. We already know income affecting prestige. So we need to plot and see how is the relationship. Is it very strong or not? We already know that from what? From the significant value or alpha or the t value, but it is good to also confirm from the plot. So we go and say plot and we have here, let's say, prestige. Again, it gives us the one that we don't want, but we just change a letter. Okay, regressed on education. And the data is taken from where? Duncan. So do you see, this is basically the data points that exist between education and prestige. It is not very intuitive. We need to draw a line that, let's say, passes through the middle of those points to see how the line goes. And through this line, we get to know it is significant, very significant, low significant, and so on. So through the line, we use the app line. So the same as we did there, but we just have the same as we did in lim, but we just take this and we put it inside a function called app line or AB line, then run. Give us the line. It is a black line, but you can change it into what the color you like. For example, red. It would give us maybe more, clearer version of the plot for a drawing. So we see seems going, but it is not very steep. If very steep, it goes like, so the line goes from here, but it goes, let's say, gradually, not very steep as, if you walk on this line, you're gonna reach out or reach top or not. So if you can reach top, it is not very steep, okay? But if you fall down, it is very steep. تفضل. The line of what? Of upline. Yeah. Just this is to give you the line there. So you can't just write it whole. Yeah, since you need to draw it, then you have the line, drawn for you. Okay, seems we quite finished the regression part. Anyone have, let's say, has any questions? Okay, basically regression, maybe some of you already know, it is just the way to see the relationship between two or many variables, how they affecting other variables. Since we are like in the industry, in academia, for banking, for example, they have different services. They need to survey their customer to see how those customers are satisfied regarding or toward their services. So they would use maybe, are their services easy to use? If they get no, the easy to use significant, they will try to even facilitate the easiness part of the services. Are they very productive services? So productivity is maybe a determinant factor, an independent factor affecting satisfaction of, let's say, customers in different bank. So lastly, we'll talk about the Swirl. So I'm coming here to give you very basic stuff about R, but at the same time, I wanted to leave you with a tool that give you, let's say, the motivation to self-learning. So Swirl, it is very exciting tool. In a way, it gives you the way to learn R from R. You need to sometimes learn R. You go to different platforms, different courses, then you take that and apply it into R. But here, the materials inside are already being built in R. So it is good to use it while you don't go back and forth to, another material to see it. So basically, a Swirl, if we go and they have already website there. GitHub, I'm assuming many of you know the GitHub. This is the platform for motivated programmers, ask questions or getting answer there. So again, we need to install packages called Swirl, and if we do so, we go and call Swirl. Anyone has problem with this calling Swirl? So what's the problem? Because you have not installed it, maybe. Yeah, if it is not installed, you can't call it. So do you try to have installed that package Swirl? Then you can call it. Let me go to their website just to.
Just be careful. There's two functions. There's one called install.
Okay. Okay.
It's called install.
Okay. So go with the install.
Yeah, go with the install.
Yeah, without ed. So this is Swirl. Basically, it says learn R and R. You don't go outside, just learn it inside, which is exciting, you know. I'm learning the R inside R. I don't know. I didn't need to go out, learn some material, then apply it here. I'm already inside the platform. And there are, when you browse their website, they have quite, you know, learn as a student and teach as instructor. So instructor even can use it to develop their own tutorials inside R. So, but there are already some built-in materials or tutorial there. So if you are learn, as most of us here, we go with the learn, and they give us the what, the procedure to do, you know, this installation and calling. You say library, as we will do here. So we have already have a Swirl there, so we will say, okay, let's say again library or run library again. I'm just gonna take this out just to give more focus into the code here. So I just say library and then I call Swirl by typing Swirl parentheses. So it says, welcome to Swirl, please sign in. If you have not been here before, use the same name as you did then. Okay, so I already been there. So if you say Musa, he will go back and take me to what I left or where I left. But if you are, let's say you are first time user there, let's say not Musa, again, Swirl will what? Will show you in the console, and we need to interact with it inside the console, not the R script. So will I say Albashrawi? So thanks. Okay, let's cover a couple of quick housekeeping items. So those housekeeping items enable you to learn how to interact with the, you know, the instruction, or let's say the tutorial given by Swirl. Okay, press enter and says here, select 1, 2, 3. What's the difference? This is just a, you know, a funny thing from them, because once you select anyone, it gives you the same results, because all. Let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, we say 4. Okay, it says it's quite يعني smart enough يعني. You will stay where you are. Okay, let's say, I don't know, 3. All of them again the same. You know, it give you some housekeeping items here. For example, if you have some material you already know, you can use a skip to skip that part. Play, you experimenting with R on your own. So you have the material, you can go back to the R script and experiment with some codes there. This is being enabled through play. Next, regain attention. So I'm coming back to Swirl, saying next. By, yani, you're gonna go outside Swirl. So and main, this is where the main menu for Swirl and info display some more options there. So, you know, it give you some items that you can go with. So what we're gonna use here, we say main. Let's see the menu. or the main menu in Swirl. Okay. So again, here, let's get started and say main. Okay, so choose a course. Actually, the first time, do you guys type in this? Anyone type main inside? I'm just, okay, do you have the same result? This is, I mean, still, I try to use different name, Albashrawi, but the system still knows me because I get stuck here. Always show me the same menu, but the first time it give you five options. What can you say it loud? What are they? Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Okay, I see. So, he has a free mindset, yani, open-minded program. So, again, I get stuck in here. So you should have the same menu as our colleague here. Maybe I interested in regression. I will select the regression, let's say option there, but you are more into inferences, statistical inferences, or getting some basic from R, you will select that option. Since I don't have it here, I will go with the option I have. I will say one. But by the way, if you need to have more courses for Swirl, you go say two and it takes you where? To the GitHub. GitHub, it has more courses there. You can take them, call them, and have them inside R to, get the tutorial. So if I go one, it give me, this is the topics that we will go over with you: introduction, least required estimation. So all regression, topics. And you will select what topics. Maybe I don't need to have or to be introduced to regression. I already knew. So I'm very selective about the topic. I go with a multivariate example, maybe four. And it says with me, this is, you see here, give you introductory, what you're gonna learn, and give you 0%. And once you done read this and you click enter, you have completed 5% of from the material. And you read it, absorb it. Maybe if they have some R tutorial or R, let's say, exercise you need to do, you have already done it. You click enter, and you are progressing. But do you see the beauty? You are inside R. You don't need to go outside. Everything in there. Yani all tools inside this beautiful program called Swirl. So again, you go next and next, and it need to have, maybe it will install some data for you. Even if you need to use some data, it will install it for you. See here. So they're gonna use this Galton data. It's already installed. So it's already built in and give you all tool need. You don't need to bring any tables or read any tables. Already there, you will do the analysis now. You are in the, let's say, the self-paced mode of learning. So this is about Swirl. It is again a very wonderful tool to have in your pocket. Anytime you didn't need to go any workshop like this again, you can use or learn R by yourself, because I have the learn how to, learn I by myself. And you don't need to go and, read a couple of articles or go over exercise by yourself. No, it goes step by step with you. Very basic, and they have intermediate and advanced level. So if we go to their last thing, we go to their website in GitHub. Okay, let's copy this. So this is their account there in GitHub, and they have all those lessons that suits any level. But seems okay. We are there. Okay, those types of the file you need to have in R to do the tutorials. And this is the courses, the title of courses. There are some courses for beginners. There are more, or they are less for intermediate and less for advanced. Basically, Swirl is what is it quite like R. There are community, it is free to use, and those community have those tutorials being built in. So it is growing. Maybe next time, after, I don't know, a while, you come and see more courses there, because it is, again, it is like R. They are developing more courses to give the community like a more self and easy learning environment. Pardon? Between R and Swirl. So Swirl, it's a package. R is the whole software. It's a package to make you learn by yourself. You don't need to go and, let's say, read some material outside. It is a package, give you the material and give you the exercise. So everything inside R. So I think we reach to our final slide, which says the end. I'm thanking you all for attending, our workshop, and I would be happy to answer any question you have.